Welcome to the intro. Yay!
Hello everyone, why don't you start by telling me your names?
Go ahead. My name's Hadley. And my name is Madeline.
Awesome, and what are your primary instruments?
Mine is classical guitar. I'm voice.
Very cool. And how long have you all been in the internship?
We just hit 2 months. Woo! Very exciting.
And how has it been since COVID?
Pretty good. Yeah, honestly better than expected. It's changed a lot of how we have to run things and lead sessions, but it helps you grow in different ways that you might not have expected, so it's been really cool.
Yeah. And now that you said 2.5 months, how does it feel being like midway through the internship almost?
Kind of crazy. It's going by really fast in some ways, and then in some ways you're like grabbing for time to still work on things. So it's definitely a mix, but it's exciting. It's really exciting.
Yeah, we've already seen some different placements from start to finish with our time, so that's been really cool. Seeing some progress with that, and then looking forward to different projects and the big picture kinds of stuff too is pretty exciting.
Very cool. And throwing back to the beginning of internship, what's some stuff that you thought about when applying?
I feel like I was definitely thinking about wanting to go to an internship that had a lot of different, like a diverse range of experiences and populations, and so I was thinking about that a lot, which I feel like we already have had a lot, a lot of experiences, and there's more to come, and we're adding them almost weekly, new experiences. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about location, if I'm being honest, which has been amazing being here. So yeah.
Yeah, my internship search process was a little different because it was switched up with COVID. So I had only very little time to figure out what I was going to do moving forward. And MusicWorx, I was able to get the application in just in time. And also that definitely the diversity was what attracted me. I know that MusicWorx is a big name out in the music therapy world. And my head of the university had this internship, and she is incredibly accomplished, so I knew it would set me up for great things. I also speak Spanish, so I wanted some place that I could really collaborate that like Spanish degree that I got with the music therapy and really be able to apply both of those in my workplace.
Speaking of diversity and the different types of inclusion and equity that are being talked about lately, what are some ways that the internship is being more equitable or being more diverse within your experiences?
I feel like the first thing is we talk about it, which is important. First step is to be self-aware and to talk about these issues, and so we meet weekly in symposium and then intern workshop. And symposium is a place to kind of catch up with one another and discuss the week, and we go over some topics that are important. And then intern workshop, similarly, we push our skills in a new area and learn new information, and so we've talked about that. We've just kind of talked about what that looks like moving forward, so I think that's a huge step. And then also just diversity in dealing with clients during COVID. A lot of people just come from totally different backgrounds and experiences, and meeting people where they're at so that you're setting up the client for success is a huge thing we've been discussing. So those are a few things we've done.
Yeah, I definitely echo all of that, and then also relying on our own music therapy team. We have diversity among the services that we provide, but also among our team here at MusicWorx. And being paired with Resounding Joy, we get all kinds of a mix of people brought to the group, so it's really helpful to hear everybody's experience and kind of mesh those all together in educating each other.
Speaking of which, can you talk a little bit about the differences between supervisors and mentors and how many resources you have when it comes to those therapists that you work with?
Let's see, mentors, I'm pretty sure are a year into employment, and then supervisors have had at least 2 years. That's the breakdown of it. So mentors are super helpful to have because they can generally relate to a little bit of that fresh, like that newness of being with the company, and bring a lot of new ideas. And then supervisors have lots of experience, so they can help you out with kind of like nitpickier things. But everybody's super accessible to us. We get a mix of both, which is really helpful. Yeah, we get all kinds of perspective, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, just for some context, I think we've had at least 3 or 4 mentors, and then obviously the internship supervisors. And that's just been amazing because you get to hear from so many different people, and each person has their specialty, which we just talked about with diversity and having that within your team. And so you can go to those people and ask what they specialize in and learn from them in their unique ways in their placement. So we've had a lot of opportunities to learn from different people even already, so it's great.
Very cool. And you mentioned symposium and having meetings with the intern team. What does the intern team look like?
Yeah, we're the juniors. So there are usually 2 juniors on the team, which is like the first level of the internship. That's the first 3 months. And then you have a pair of senior interns, which are the second 3 months of that 6-month internship. So it's the 4 of us right now. And yeah, we collaborate on all kinds of things together, like co-treating different clients. They also supervise us for different things. But they're also just peers and like helpful to get time to vent with and time to build each other up. And yeah, it's a great environment, I think.
Yeah, the internship is designed so that you're never just left in the dark. Like, you have people that are mentors that are there for you. You've got supervisors, and then you have your intern team. And so you always have someone who can probably relate to your experience in some way all along the way. So we have an intern workshop as well. Intern Mindful Mondays, which is where we meet on Monday mornings and talk together. And just share ideas, share worries, concerns. We go through a sample session plan, whatever it might be, and meet with one another. So just staying in constant communication and reaching out for help when you need it is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And what's the schedule look like? Or as one might say, the typical schedule?
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. It really depends on the week. But I think we've got it a little bit steadier now. So most days you could expect like 8 to 5. Sometimes you'll have like an occasional evening or an occasional Saturday. But beyond that, it's usually like 8 to 5-ish, and there are some breaks in between then, depending on the day. So it's definitely busy. Prepare for that. But our supervisors, our team also acknowledges that we're human and need to take some time to ourselves, or we have off days or whatever it might be in our, I don't know, like compliant, like understanding of that.
Yeah, so it's kind of broken down into indirect and direct hours, and we log those hours. And indirect is office work, practicing your instruments, whatever that might be. So you have time during the week to do that. And then direct is time with clients or time with patients, whatever it might look like. And so that's pretty evenly split throughout your week. So you can do time in the office and get your work done. Then you're also seeing clients. And at the beginning of the internship, that looks a little bit more like leading groups. And then as you get further in, you move into the medical placements, which are long days at the hospital, which are really fun and enjoyable. So
Very cool. Other than medical settings, what are some other populations or diagnoses that you've worked with?
Yeah, we've done groups for kiddos with developmental disabilities, adults with developmental disabilities. We do Parkinson's singing groups. We have a harmonica group for Parkinson's, a harmonica group for post-cardiac and pulmonary. Lots of older adult placements, memory care units.
And the new one, we got a new one last week, which was super
yes.
fun at the San Diego Rescue Mission, which I am loving, which is where we partner with a quartet that are string players, and we lead a session alongside them for the individuals at the rescue mission, and we do drum circles, we do song rewrites, lyric analysis, whatever it might be, and then they play their music as well. So that's just a really cool partnership and really fun, and that's new to our schedule. So
Yeah. And we have a few other things looking forward to in the future, some possible additions onto that. So, like I said, you kind of transition out of things and then go on to something new, which has been great because it's just a lot of diversity. You get all kinds of experience.
yes.
Thank you. And how have you adapted to COVID and keeping safety for you and for your clients?
Yeah, we're always wearing a mask when you are in anywhere near anyone in the office, always wearing a mask. And then obviously a lot of things are on Zoom. So almost all of the placements that we just mentioned, except for the hospital, are on Zoom. So we lead those very distanced. And then at the hospital, we have to have a face shield. If you're ever singing with a client, or with a patient, you have to have a mask and a face shield and gel in and gel out, which we've learned, which you always have to be putting hand sanitizer on and off and washing your hands.
Yeah, we wipe down all of our equipment, both in the office. If you're ever using any surface, using any instrument, you wipe it down after you're done. And then in the hospital, every time you go in and out of a patient's room, glove up, you wipe down your guitar, your iPad stand, the whole shebang. So
yeah, and just personal responsibility in the community with being in purple tier, which we're at right now, is just being safe, going around and doing what you're doing. So yeah, and COVID tests. We've got a few COVID tests. Yeah.
What if you don't have an iPad, like you mentioned?
That's a great question because I was in this situation. Yeah, Miss Barbara was able to wander around and scrounge in the office and came up with an iPad for me. So that was super helpful. I've been able to borrow one from the office during my time here. I'd say that, it's possible to get by. We do have songbooks and things that you could use with like laminated sheets, so you just wipe them down after using them with a client. But I would definitely say an iPad is ideal to have, and I've been able to download the apps that we need on that, and we'll be able to transition them once I get my own, hopefully soon. So yeah, very nifty to have if you can afford it, or could find one, or the office can lend you one.
Very cool, thank you. And what's one notable thing that you've learned so far in your internship? I know just one, but.
Oh, gosh. I think learning to be very present in the moment that you're in. I feel we write patient highlights every week about a patient or a client that is just a highlight for us, and I feel like the theme that keeps coming up in all of my highlights is be present. Be present with the client. That's something I've had to do for myself, and noticing if I'm thinking too far ahead, thinking about the end of internship, thinking about deadlines. It stresses you out, first of all, and then second of all, you don't appreciate the moment that you have with the people that you're with, and whether that be your intern team, whether that be your supervisor, a patient. So taking a breath and realizing you're here in this moment and you want to maximize that moment and learn the most that you can. So that's something that I've had to remind myself of quite a bit since I've been here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree with that, and I'll take another approach of just like everything up until that moment, so you can be present, would be like preparation, right? So just making sure that you feel adequately prepared for what you're about to be going into, whether it's having the music downloaded, whether it's having your session plan written or printed out, or all of the chords that you're going to be doing for the songs printed out, like just having that mindset of, okay, I have all these boxes checked off, I'm ready to go, so that I can be present in that moment. And also just preparing yourself mentally before you go into something. Maybe you have a difficult time at one placement with one patient, whatever it might be, switching that kind of mindset, okay, I'm in a new space now, and I can take on a new mental space to go into that.
And we talk all the time about setting our patients up for success and rarely talk about ourselves. And doing the same so that you feel confident going into a session. So being present and being prepared is like number one priority.
Thank you, that was very insightful. And then, what is something good to know to prepare for internship, or any advice that you give somebody applying who's a little nervous or anything like that?
That's a good question.
You are capable. I would say that, number one. If you're applying for this internship and you're putting in the time and effort, then you are totally able to do it. And it is not this far-reaching thing. This is something that you can do. So I would say that, number one.
Yeah.
It's easy to not believe that about yourself. Or there's moments that are difficult during internship where you'll question that. And that's okay and very normal, but you are capable. So say that, number one, if you're applying or you're interested in this internship.
Yeah, to go off that, Barbara talks about just looking for interns and how she decides on interns. And keep in mind that she would not select someone for this internship if they were not ready for it, and she felt that they were the right fit and prepared. And so that's like a huge compliment just coming from Barbara, because she is the most accomplished woman. So just knowing that, that you have the skills, you're ready, even if you might feel nervous, if you might not feel completely there. I was thrown into this in a different circumstance, and so just felt like I had such little time to kind of get my feet underneath myself and get ready to go. But I've been finding things out along the way, and it's been absolutely pleasant, and just knowing that you have a team to rely on. Communication, I'd say, is really big, both pre-internship and during. So just make sure that you're communicating about anything that you need, any questions that you have. We do a lot of that.
Lots of questions. And also just something I was thinking of as you were saying that is they're going to treat you like a professional. Everyone here is going to treat you like a professional. And so expect that coming into it. Yes, you can communicate, and yes, people will be there to help you out and to encourage you. But also it's really self-driven. And a lot of how far you go is self-driven and what you learn and how engaged you are. I mean, it's intrinsically motivated. So just be aware of that going into it, and believe in yourself, and know that it takes a lot of hard work, but there's also a lot of payoff. So that's okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for taking the time.
Yeah.
And we're going to go ahead and talk to your seniors next.
Oh,
Okay,
exciting.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Hi.
Hello. Can you all just start off with telling me your name?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rebecca,
I'm Rachel.
and we are the senior intern team.
That. Yep. We planned that. All right. Yeah, we're both from University of the Pacific.
San Francisco campus.
And I'm from
Stockton.
the Stockton campus. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what are your primary instruments?
Oh.
Um,
You go.
I'm voice and piano.
And I'm just voice. I'm not as fancy.
And how long have you been in internship?
It's about 4 months.
Close-ish.
Close-ish. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah, 4 months.
Wow, has it flown by, or has it been a long process?
Oh, it's
I think
flown
it's
by.
both. To be honest.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Some days are like so long, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, it's Friday again? That's crazy. How did we get to this point already? So
Yeah. But then, like, also at the same time, it feels like we've been here for a really long time. But then at the same time, you look at the calendar and you're like, oh my gosh, like the end of internship is
it's
here.
right there. It's right there. I know.
Speaking of the calendar, how has your schedule and calendar changed since COVID?
Oh.
Well, I mean, we started in COVID, and we were also, like, required to be, I think it was, we had to wait until the start of fall term
Yes. Yeah.
in order to do things in person, so.
Yeah. UOP, because we're still liable with UOP, if we got sick, that would be on them.
Mhm.
And so they said that we couldn't do anything in person until like August 24th. But we both still wanted to start internship and like get going. So we decided to do our first half basically all online.
Mhm.
And
it was still, like, a full schedule. It
still-
wasn't
oh,
like
yeah.
it was, like,
it wasn't like
2
easy.
sessions a day. Yeah.
You know?
I my first week I clocked in like 50 hours,
Yeah.
including like office work and then like sessions. So like most of the time, I think they want us to do like from 8 to 5, but sometimes it extends a little bit further. Like when we were digital, it was pretty much like 8 to 5 nonstop. And then now that we're like semi in person, semi virtual, like we have 5-6 hour blocks at the hospital. We do some parking lot sessions with like ample time in between to travel between different populations. And yeah, so for like the most part, like expect to be working like 8 to 5. There's not a lot of wiggle room. And yeah, because we all have to take care of ourselves and continue self-care.
Washing our hands, all that good stuff.
And how do you feel midway through your internship?
I
Exhausted. Really? I mean,
yeah, you're definitely tired, but it's at the same time,
it's so rewarding.
yeah, you are making a difference in people's lives. Like, you can't put a price or anything like that on that.
And that's also why like this internship is so unique too, is
Yeah.
that we get to like experience so much, and like even though like it is exhausting, but it's like so rewarding. You're learning so much. Like we have like a really large intern team, and like on top of that, like all of our supervisors have been so flexible. They're willing to listen and like see what they can do for you in order to make this internship like worth it for you. Like no one's gonna throw like random assignments at you and be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, by the way, finish this by like tomorrow. But like there's like a purpose behind it. Like nothing's like just kind of thrown at you just for it to be thrown at you, like it is in school.
There's never any busy work. It's always something that's gonna advance your skills, advance how you look at things, your assessment process. They're always testing you in a way that doesn't feel like you're being tested.
Yeah.
So
They want you to succeed.
Yes,
We
yeah.
want you to succeed.
Speaking of pushing you and giving you opportunities to learn and grow, what are some populations that you're working with now that you didn't work with at the beginning of internship? And how have they pushed you?
Medical setting, I have to say, is probably one of the pushiest ones.
Yeah, the pushiest one. Yeah, because since we started all online, we weren't able to go into the hospital setting right away. Whereas normally with this internship, outside of COVID, you hop into the hospital practically day one. But because we were all online, it was slightly different for us. So we all of a sudden had to get used to like both the physical toll of like walking around the hospital all day, as well as like working with different diagnoses and patients and being on your, the top of your game all day. So that was definitely an adjustment.
Yeah, and like
But-
assessment looks so different too,
Yeah.
like in the hospital versus like when you're on like a Zoom call, for example. So like a lot of our digital like sessions were over Zoom, and we would have to like look at each individual little squares and then like hope that just because you don't see them, that maybe they're doing something off to the side, or maybe they ran into another room.
Or just because their camera is turned off doesn't mean that they're not actually there, like listening to you and watching you, because you never know, what's going on in somebody's household and everything. So there's a lot more to take into account when you're doing Zoom than when you're there in person, because when you're there in person, you have more control over the environment than someone who's in their house with their siblings, their pets, their parents.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like you have plenty of opportunities to adapt to different situations.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of adapting, what was it like transitioning from being a junior intern to a senior intern?
It was a lot. I mean, like, responsibilities definitely went up, like instead of worrying about yourself and like worrying about what you're learning, you also have to like look into, okay, so I have a new I guess team coming in. They don't know as much as you do about the internship, and like at that point, like you're the expert on what it's like being an intern at that time. and we can't really do much except for like show our support, like reach out, see what there is to, you know, what they needed, and yeah.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like you all are pretty awesome seniors.
We try.
I hope.
Are there any big projects that you have to work on now that you're seniors?
Yeah, so I guess the last half we're focused more on like our special projects and our case study, and so like the special project is really open-ended. Like it can range from like creating a program to like putting together like repertoire for specific populations. It can range from, I don't know, like putting together a what is it called, where you put everything together.
Oh.
It's not an encyclopedia.
Oh, like a dictionary.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what is that word? I forget. But like a database. Yeah,
There
like
you
putting
go.
together a database for like music therapy related things. So that's been really nice to just like figure out what you want to do, or like figure out what populations you want to work with, and then like maybe present it to a future like part of your profession as well. And then I know.
Yeah, a case study is where you have like a specific population or group of people that you want to work with, and you spend about 8 sessions or more. If you can get more, that's great. But at least 8 sessions with this group, and you really focus in on the interventions that you do with them, how those interventions affected that population, what they responded to, what they didn't, and basically create like this whole like article about how your interventions and what you did affected this population, and how people can recreate that in the future, or how you might adapt from it from where you left off. And so that's exciting because it's almost like you're doing real research, you know. So
Yeah, and I also wanted to bring up like another project that we do in our internship. It's called You're the Boss, and honestly, it was so surprising that like because like so much of music therapy is like creating your own business, starting a program, and that project like really helped us like create this
gives you like a home base.
yeah,
Like a
like where do
starting
you
point.
want to do your where do you want to start your job, where do you want to start your private practice, and things like that. So it's been really helpful. Yeah, and again, like we said, like nothing's busy work. It's like stuff that will actually really benefit you.
All right, wonderful. And last question, if you could tell me in one sentence, what differentiates MusicWorx from other internships?
Support.
Oh, that was one word. You can use a sentence.
Support from a lot of people.
Oh my gosh. Okay. My one sentence is going to be becoming a well-rounded music therapist. Ooh.
All right, well, thank you. That's
Thank
the end of our
you.
interview for today.
Woo!
Hi, this is MTV. Welcome to our crib. Welcome. This is the intern office, and we're going to give you a little brief tour. Okay,
All right, where to begin?
this
Cozy chairs, first off.
The plants. Let's start here. We have
That's
two.
This one.
We have 2 beautiful real plants we love. And then we have a globe just in case where we forget where we're going. It has inspirational quotes on it. Our holiday decor includes this pumpkin man, scarecrow, and a real pumpkin. Whiteboards for all of your notes when you don't know what's going on. And then personal favorite, hand sanitizer, as one should have. A self-care jar. Can you see it? And whenever you're just feeling low or like you need a boost, you just yank one of these little things out of here and you go, oh, I'm going to take a bath tonight. Or whatever it is. It's great.
My personal favorite is George Harrison saying, "Hi, beautiful."
All right, on this side we have our inspirational mirror where you can write up a quote whenever you're feeling inspired. This says, I am enough, breathe, and hi, beautiful, have a lovely day. So take a nice little selfie of your great professional outfit that day. You're feeling great. And our lovely holiday lights, a Vanna display for you. Yep, and we have, let's see,
follow your dreams, which is to become a music therapist while you're in this office. So it's really inspiring. And we also have a trophy for the fabulous intern team from a bygone era. So there you go.
Finally, some business cards. Very nifty to have. Music therapy intern team.
It's honestly pretty awesome. And then a bunch, I mean, confetti worth amount of lanyards. So, woo! Welcome to the intern office.
What do they say?
They say, ask me about music therapy. So whenever you're walking around, anybody's going to ask you about what music therapy is. Oh, those are fun, yeah.
We made these last week in our intern symposium and workshop. So they are our different strengths as a team, like input and restorative. This is Madeline.
From StrengthsFinder.
Here's mine, a little bit more interpretive. So each of us wrote down, our strengths and the different ways that we work best off each other.
So, lots of inspiration and color going on. And that's the office. Welcome.